Hello everyone, my name's Dalia Zermon and I'm the founder of Paint Jam London and a London artist. And today I am going to bring you Sketch On, a special sketching workshop that normally happens on location, but today is going to be happening in our homes because, let's face it, we don't really have a choice. So today, Sketch On Home will be all about sketching all the things we love and use in our home, and also cultivating a really fun and playful approach to sketching. Now, as the founder of Paint Jam London, I have an ethos and a philosophy about art that I like to stick to. As you can see, art is for everyone. In fact, I need to move that too. And you can kind of see art for everyone is our motto. But I also believe that art is good for you. So not only do I believe that everyone has the right to make art and that it should be an equal platform for everyone to be able to do so, I also have the added belief that if you do so, art is good for you. It's a good opportunity to release creativity, ideas, express yourself, have fun and step into your more playful side. And those things, I'm sure you will all agree, are the spice of life and are really important to cultivate. Otherwise, everything just becomes a bit too stiff, rigid, perfectionist, and all things that don't feel loose and happy inducing. So sketching should be a space where you can increase joy, actually, by stepping into your playful side. Now, different artists will have different ideas on what allows you, or what sketching is, essentially. So I'm obviously, as an artist, only going to be able to tell you what sketching means to me and my approach to sketching. And mine is all about bypassing thought, really having fun with it, capturing the essence of the objects that we're looking at. No perfectionism, realism goes out the window. I'm not interested in anyone trying to capture anything perfectly. What we're trying to channel and cultivate is this idea of naive charm, the idea that everyone has the right to do it and that the way everyone does it is actually just as valid as anyone else, and is an opportunity to express. So I'd like you to think about the process of doing, allowing that naivety, and just having fun with it, basically. That is the bottom line. So as artists, we can often, through the practice of doing something again and again and again, we sometimes lose that naive charm that a lot of sketches and drawings have. And really, when we work, we've done work with thousands of people over the years that haven't picked up a pen or a paintbrush since school in our Paint Jam workshops. And what we notice is that people that haven't done art for a while, or not for years, actually still have that naive charm that as artists we try and bring back in. So I'm sure all of you out there will have more of that naive charm at the moment than even some of us artists, and that's something to actually appreciate and hold on to. The thing also to remember is if you saw artworks by top artists that were done in a naive way, you would probably think, oh wow, aren't they great, and give them credibility just because you know they're a famous artist. Well, you know what? In Sketch On, we're going to give ourselves that same credibility. We can all do this, and we all have a right to express ourselves and do sketches as we wish. So we're going to be inspired today by some of my favourite artists like Matisse, who was really bold at the time in doing such suggestive and limited marks and strokes with his drawing materials. We're thinking about just at the turn of the last century he was doing this, which was kind of inspired by the Impressionist movement, even though he wasn't part of that, which is much more of a painting movement. But you can see the suggestive impressions that he's making with his mark making here. Then we also have one of my favourites, David Hockney. Now, David Hockney is much better known as a pop artist because that's when he began his career. However, I think a lot of his more recent contemporary work lends or borrows a lot from Impressionism. And what's amazing about his work is he uses very vibrant poppy colours, but also this very suggestive either brush stroke or mark making with his sketching materials, and I love his work. Another very famous artist and illustrator that's extremely contemporary is David Shrigley, and if you can see these scenes he's done of his home, they're extremely inspiring and fun and light, and that's really the energy we're going to cultivate today. Some of my sketches are, again, keeping that very fun vibe. So these are some of mine that I've done from home that we're going to be looking at today. So you'll be drawing inspiration from the way I work, but also the way you feel to work. So what's the difference between sketching and drawing? I mean, we needn't draw a distinction between the two things, but for me, what I find is quite an important distinction for me, not everyone would say this, is that drawing tends to be a bit more realistic, whereas sketching has this energy of just trying to capture the suggestive marks, just trying to capture what we love about something, just trying to capture the movement and the energy, and really throwing realism and perfectionism out the window, and trying to capture, like we've said, that naive charm. So that is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to begin with parts of our house. I'm going to take you on a journey through my day, and we're going to do sketch on home. So, proportion and shape. So that is what we're going to think about right now. When we are looking at an object in front of us, and remember, we're not going to attempt to draw it in a perfect way at all, but when we are looking at the object, we are going to think about the relationship between the sizes and the proportion in a way. So I'm not an object. We're going to be doing all inanimate objects today, but since you're looking at me, I'm going to use myself as an example for proportion. So if you look top of my head to my chest, which is what you can see right now, how much of that distance does my face take up? How much of that distance does my bottom of my chin to, say, my collarbone take up? How much of that distance does my collarbone to chest take up? So always referring to the whole size and then the sizes, proportional sizes within. And that essentially is proportion. Now, the next thing you're going to be looking at, so it's proportion and size, is the relationship between the shapes. So where does my mouth land in relation to the bottom of my ear? Where does my nose lie in relation to the parting on my hair? It's there. Okay? So that's what I want you to be thinking about, where things are in relation to each other and the proportions, looking at the whole, and then of course applying this to any object that we're looking at. So I want you to think about proportion, but I also want you to slightly let go of it at the same time. I want you to to embrace it and then move on and think, you know what, if things are out of proportion and have this charm to them, that is great. That's what we're embracing today, the charm of sketching. So I'm gonna now take you on a journey, a sketching journey through my home in the order at which my day goes, and probably yours does too. All you need is to get your paper, your pens. I like to use thick black markers or fine liners, or you might have a pencil or a biro. Photocopy paper is absolutely fine, and we are ready to begin together. Now, the first thing we do in the morning is get out of bed in our bedrooms. So, I am going to invite you to draw this scene that we have in front of us. Now, this is of course my bedroom. However, if you would like to draw your bedroom and your bed, you can do that. Okay, so this is our first drawing. We are going to be drawing the bed. So you can watch the very kind of dynamic and free way that I draw, and then you can try and take something from this dynamic approach after when you do your drawings. So there's no real place that you have to start, but I'm inspired to kind of capture this cushion, and then there's a cushion coming out underneath that I'd like to show, kind of bunching up a bit there, and then just below that there's another cushion. It's kind of paced a bit lower like that, and then we have the sideboard of the bed, which I'm going to show like that. I'm not quite showing in as much of it as is there, but like we said, we don't really care. And this is the beautiful wooden edge of the bed here. And then we have a mattress that kind of bends around like that and then curves around like this. And then this curves around too. And then this side of the bed continues like that onto the floor. Got this beautiful Swedish pine bit over here. I'm going to show some wood grain a bit there, just for fun. A few creases in their pillows. Some nice ones here. Just very suggestive. And then I'm just going to show some actually these cool little patterns on this pillow as well. I'm not doing them accurately at all, as you can see. Just letting my imagination flow from what's there and then seeing what I feel like doing with it. Then we have this gorgeous fold of fabric that is the duvet. It's coming around like this. It kind of goes like this. And it's got its little creases as well. And little crevices or whatever we're calling them. And then under here we have another pillow, and we have the side of the bed, which we can't see from that side, so we'll leave that. And then we have got a little space for a little bit of the mat. Got this lovely Indian mat that I bought in India here. And then if you want to do a couple of creases that you get in these kinds of mattresses that I have, a few creases on the edge of the sheet here, the way it bags on the side, and then you might want to do the lamp, which comes round like this. Got its stand. Can't get it all in, but never mind. There we go, we've got a bit of that light stand in now. Done ever so simply, as you can see. And there we go. We have, I want to try this cross hatching just to get elements of dark. Get some here in the creases, maybe under here. Maybe around here. And there we go. We have the bed sketch. And as with all the scenes that I'm going to propose that we draw today, you can either draw the whole scene, most of the scene, or you can just zone in and do one thing. You could think, I'm just going to draw a pillow and go right in and just do the pillow. Or you might think, I quite like that little side table. I wouldn't blame you if you did. I love it. And you could just do that. And it could be just the side table, or it could be with the lamp, etc. I'll leave it to you, but that is the scene. Okay, next you probably need to go to the toilet. I thought it would only be polite not to have me sitting on the loo this time, but we are going to sketch the toilet. Right, so we've got out of bed, we've been to the loo. The next place we want to go to is our kitchen for some coffee. So you can choose to either do the whole scene that you can see in front of you with the kettle, the cafetiere, the packet of coffee and the cup, and of course the tiling and the surface of the kitchen if you like. Or you could just choose something simple like the cup. So here's my coffee scene. And you will probably notice that it has that kind of naive charm. There isn't a sense of perfection and realism in it. It's much more about suggestive marks that give you the mood and the energy and the feel of the drawing, or the sketch as we're calling it. So I just want to notice that we do this kind of cross-hatching effect where we do diagonal lines, or I do diagonal lines, to show light and dark, and this really shows where there is shadow, and of course where you don't put them is where it's light, and it's a really useful way of showing light and dark. So I suggest that you use it throughout this sketch on and see if you enjoy it. you're probably ready to have your breakfast, but then you notice that there's washing up. But before we put our washing up away, why don't we sketch it? And then you might make yourself some poached eggs on toast, or possibly something else, but today let's look at the poached eggs on toast. Oh, I think I need a bit of a sit down after that. But I think I'll water my plants again. Now our last sketch is going to be a surreal sketch. So if you can get all your favourite things that have supported you and sparked joy during lockdown and arrange them all. Some of the things might be in your imagination, but others might be objects like these. We are going to now do a sketch where we juxtapose things in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways that wouldn't necessarily occur in life like that. Really just to celebrate the things that are supporting us and bringing us joy during this crazy time. Now my piece got quite bizarre. I did my palette, I did my paints, I did paint splatters going everywhere, I did a geometric background, candles, and then I wanted to put words in, so I just went with it and put lucky, danger, cooking, fear, peace, calm, insecure, and then I just wanted to write all is magnified, and I ended up writing it all over the top. And the reason I'm showing this to you, even though it kind of looks in inverted commas ruined, is because there can be as much destruction as there is creativity in the creative process, and that's what I felt to do, so I did it. And maybe it's showing my frustration, But you know what? It was a cathartic process to kind of celebrate everything. There's my loo roll underneath, and then end up kind of showing the chaos. Everything is magnified at the moment. And so yeah, that's just my truth of a sketch that I'm sharing with you. Thanks for coming to Sketch On. I hope you enjoyed it. These are some of my favourite sketches from the day, like my coffee pot scene. Can you see that properly? Quite like my loo, actually. And one of my favourite plants that I drew. So if you would like to share your sketches with us, we'd absolutely love to see them. You can send them to info@paintjamlondon.co.uk, or alternatively send them to our Facebook or Instagram, which is @paintjamlondon. If you've had a good time and you want to come to one of our other sketching workshops or even our painting workshops, you can visit us on our website, which will be coming up shortly. And we would also love to just encourage you to buy a sketchbook, even a small one to pop in your handbag. As you've seen, you can use pens, photocopy paper, or just buy a nice sketchbook for yourself. All shapes and sizes, one that fits in your handbag, and get sketching. Thank you for coming.